Malaysian boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we are going to dive into the micro stuff for Turbo, but mainly this video is going to be about how high can Turbo truly go. Now, obviously there are a few factors, so let's just get them right out the way. But before I do, yes, still on vacation. Yes, I'll be back in a couple of days. Yes, there's still going to be no thumbnails until I do get back. But listen, right? How high can Turbo truly go? Now, obviously, the only big thing that could put a knife in Turbo's back is World War III potentially, right? I always have to just say, just in case. Now, I'm not too concerned, right? Because I don't think the world really actually wants to do it, go crazy, because if we go crazy, it might potentially be the end. Plus, you know how it is with the elites. They still want to live and stuff. They still want to have control. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole another day. But other than that, right, how high can Turbo truly go? Now, there are a few variables, right? One of them is how much is going to get pumped into the markets, which personally, I believe there's going to be a good amount at the bare minimum, right? A good amount of money pumped into crypto. We can even see if I go to something like this, boom, right? The Federal Reserve officially ends the risk oversight easing crypto banking restrictions. And someone said, explained this like a 5-year-old, right? So then Grok says, imagine the big bank is like a parent of all banks. It used to say, be careful with crypto or people might think you're naughty. Now it says you can use crypto without worrying and looking bad. Okay. So pretty much, right, there's a lot of news that's pro crypto, right? And I see a lot of institutions, a lot of big people still buying Bitcoin. Okay, the way we're trending with everything, I still see global liquidity going up. I still see that there's a high probability that, there will be more rate cuts over the next few months, that there's going to be more money pumped in from America, right? So, and obviously other countries are getting involved as well. And you probably think, well, why are you saying this? Like, yeah, that's good news, but why are you saying this? Well, because everything trickles down to other coins like Turbo. I believe truly Turbo will be one of the top meme coins. And we've seen data that can prove it. We've literally were the most pumped coin a couple of weeks ago. Okay, we literally outdid every single coin in what, top 300 or 400, right? After that, of course, any coin that goes from 5,000 market cap to 500,000 market cap, of course, that's technically a bigger gain in terms of percentages, but not in terms of, like irrelevancy with the big dogs. So we were literally a top pumped coin in the top 300, top 400. Okay. We literally made headlines. We broke records. Turbo broke records. Okay. And I expect Turbo to do really, really well. We have Doge, we have Sheep, right? Those are obviously going to do well. You got to remember these coins. Here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of money in the markets. There's going to be a lot more than last time. And people are saying, well, there's a little bit more altcoins, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot more altcoins. Well, there's only actually like an official 300 more relevant altcoins, okay? So the ratios are still better. You got to remember something like Doge, Sheep, Pepe, and all this is probably going to peak a little bit earlier, by 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks compared to something like Turbo, which ultimately means the money will be trickled down coming into us. So not only are we getting more money, but we're also going to be sharing the money at one point. Okay. And yeah, I mean, look at some of these coins, right? So SPX is going to be competitive. Bonk, Fartcoin, right? WIF is going to do good. Ape, Floki. I mean, Floki is always still good, but it starts falling off behind these coins a little bit. Obviously, Brett is up there right now. Yeah, we did drop a little bit, right? I don't even know what ranking we are. Probably like top 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But we've seen this before, right? We were 17th now. We were 17th before. We're even actually top 24 before. And then we were like 11th or 12th. We almost actually broke the top 10 record just a couple of weeks ago. Okay. Like I said, you got to remember some things shift in terms of money. But I already said, I do believe we are better than Popcat, Dog, Mog. I do believe we're better than Brett. The only way Brett could ever really, truly overtake us is if there's going to be a specific base meta that goes absolutely crazy. But you're playing with such, low probabilities of that. So Ape were better, Pengu were better. I would say we're better than Flowkey. You know, WIF, there's a lot of competition there. Farcoin, Bonk, and SPX are going to be hard. But it doesn't matter because at that point, we're already going to be top 10. Okay. And I do believe, you know, we compared it to Pepe. I do believe we will hit at the bare minimum Pepe's market cap, its peak market cap. Okay. Because we are on the Ethereum chain as well. Right. You got to remember Ethereum has been underperforming this year. So when we do get that Ethereum buff, right, just because Ethereum goes up doesn't mean we're automatically going to go up just the same amount. Okay, because you got to remember, like I said, each coin has its own thing, structure, fundamentals, and etc. But it's always a buff. Even if it doesn't help us now, in 2 weeks, in 4 weeks, in 6 weeks, it would help us. Okay, that's just the reality. So you got to remember, Ethereum has been underwhelming, and something like Pepe still went to, I think the technical market cap was like 11 billion. Okay, 11 billion. We're like under 300 million market cap right now. That is going to be roughly 40x from here. 40x. That would be really, really crazy. That would be around that 12 to, let's say, 14 cent area. Just based off believing that we will hit at least Pepe's highs, right? When it comes to actual structure, the very important thing is to break through this zone, right? Once we kind of get upwards of 2 cents, this is going to be the real big test, because we can actually see we do have some type of resistance with this point here, this point, this point. But once we break past this, we are in free territory, because we are going to be above all of this structure, and we are going to be zooming to the moon. Okay. Now, some people think it could hit $1. Some people think it could hit $2. I'll tell you what, no. Turbo is never hitting $1. Turbo is never hitting $1. Maybe 50 years from now when there's another couple more zeros in the market. But Turbo, for it to hit $1, you have to understand this. Okay? That would be roughly, I mean, literally 100x from here, right? 100x from here is 33 cents. 100x from here would be what? Like 20, like that's a lot of market cap. Jesus. Okay, if we 100x right now, we are pretty much at 23 billion market cap. Okay? And then we still got a 3x from there. We would have to be sitting around 70 billion market cap, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? 70 billion. Now, I love Turbo. But if you're telling yourself dollar, I'm sorry, but you're going to be waiting a very long time. Okay? That's the current market cap of Doge. And Doge is the #1 meme coin. It is the head of meme coins. So no, it won't hit $1. No, it won't hit 75 cents. 50 cents, very unlikely. Very unlikely. Right? Because of, it just depends, right? If we go to like 12 or 16 trillion total market cap, then yeah, 50 cents is possible. But if we get around that 6 to 8 billion total market cap, then no, right? I would say like maximum, and this is still being generous, we're hitting is probably gonna be like 20 cents. 20 to 25 cents on a more realistic / a little bit moon boy optimistic zone. Okay? You have to remember that yes, meme coins will go crazy. Turbo is one of the best meme coins. Yes. Okay? Gotta remember that. But you gotta also remember there's also a lot of adoption towards real projects, like something like ZBEC, something like XRP, something like, literally doesn't matter. It's gonna be Avalanche, Ethereum, Solana. And yes, some money will trickle down. Okay? But we have to remember that there's a lot of competition. And if Turbo was like, if there's only 10 meme coins in the total market, sure, Turbo can hit $1. Because there's all the money doesn't have too many areas to go to. But that's not reality. That is not reality. Okay? So I ultimately think 25 cents is going to be like my top. Now that is still pretty crazy. I am not going to be selling based off of price prediction. I'm going to be selling based off technical analysis and data. So if the data says 7 cents is the top, 7 cents is the top. But the data says 2 cents is the top, then 2 cents is the top. Right? The data says, we're at 25 cents, but there's no signs of momentum slowing down at all, then guess what? We will be going up higher and higher until I see, okay, reversal signs, I'm selling, right? I'm pretty confident in my abilities. Something like ZBEC, right? Something like ZBEC. The reason why I mention this is because this is actually literally a perfect example. All right, look at this, perfectly off the zone too. But yeah, we bought down here somewhere. All right, we bought, and then we literally sold almost at the top. It was like somewhere here. So I'm very confident in my own abilities to be selling near the tops because the data does not lie. I know some people think, oh, well, the markets are random. The market's this. No, not really. What's random is like if there was a new coin, like if Turbo just came out now at 0 market cap or like 500K market cap, then, yeah, buying into that right now and thinking it's going to hit even where it is right now, that is random. That is some fate. That is some luck. That is a gamble, right? Even if Turbo was destined to make all the same steps, you wouldn't know that, right? You wouldn't know that. But yeah, no, I'm very confident in Turbo. I do believe Turbo will be a top dog, right? Like I said, our main zone we have to look at is that 2-cent barrier, right? That 2-cent barrier, to break it and then continue flying high, okay? Because here's the deal. If Turbo, right, if altcoin season does start happening, like the peak of altcoin season where it's like, okay, the rally is going to finish in like 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and then we just get to the top of like near 2 cents, then that's just going to be the top, right? But I do think Turbo will do better than that because, getting up to here is only like 1.2, 1.3 billion market cap anyways. When we look at it from a Fibonacci standpoint, right, take it from here, maybe to the bottoms, right, and we actually flip it, right, Fibonacci tool is good, but you got to also remember there's certain context you have to use, right? The 1.6 zone, like I said, very important. But once we break it, the 2.6 is going to be a little bit more than 3.5 cents. So it's nice. I know some people want higher, of course, but in terms of just pure zones, in terms of pure zones, boom. And then this is usually when like it'll like top out. So 6 cents. So, even if we did hit 6 cents, I personally wouldn't complain. My average buys are super, super low in general, right? You'd still probably make 17x from these types of areas. I wouldn't complain necessarily, right? My goal ultimately is just to be making a 10 to 20x off of each coin, which I believe is more than possible. I do believe Turbo will hit higher. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is ultimately it. I do believe Turbo will probably hit that 20-cent zone. I also do believe, there's a possibility of it going higher depending on how much money is going to be in the markets, which we will, readjust our game plan when it's time. $1.75 and even something like 50 cents is very, very unlikely, right? Do not get attached to a multiplier that's not guaranteed, right? You have to just look at the data and take it day by day, week by week, month by month to see what is happening with the markets, where we're heading, and where we're going to top off, right? But yeah, that is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not stressing on how high we go. I do believe we'll hit, very, very well. For me, minimum should be 10 cents, even just in terms of pure market cap and some other fundamentals, right? But yeah, that is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.